Hi chess friends, this is King's Executor covering the highlight of round 3 of the 2013 Tata Steel tournament at Wijk aan Zee in the Netherlands. And I'm covering this as the round is still proceeding, because the game between Magnus Carlsen and Loek van Wely was surely the highlight of this round, even though the other players are not done yet. Okay, Magnus Carlsen opened with the English, and Loek van Wely really answered with a solid King's Indian type or perk defense type of setup. And we see bishop to g5. A principle in chess is to move your pieces as forward as possible, and bishop to g5 should be a good move there. This is a probing move as well, maybe provoking some weakening moves such as h6 by black, and indirectly pinning the knight to the queen. Okay, c5 was played, so the pin is not created in any way. So Magnus pushed forward with d5. If white wants anything in such positions, he has to grab space and try to cramp the opponent as good as he can. And now e6, with the principle of opening up the game when you're ahead in development. Obviously, white had several pawn moves, and black has castled already, so it makes sense just to open up the game and not let white settle down with his nice center. Queen to d2, flexible move, backing up the bishop, maybe at some point exchanging off that strong bishop with the pin down here, and if takes later on, let's say e takes or c takes, afterwards bishop h6 is a good idea, because this bishop is really strong down that diagonal. And also castle's queenside is an option with queen to d2, sorry, and f4 later, or h4. After queen d2, Van Wely opened up consistently, and after recapturing with the e-pawn, which is interesting because c takes d really takes towards the center, and you keep two nice central pawns. But taking this way around makes the game somewhat more easier. These pawns are fixed for now, which they aren't in this position, a6, b5, and these pawns are fluid here. And I guess you have to know more theory and play more accurately. Playing e takes d is a little bit easier, I guess. Queen to b6, a good move, pressurizing the queenside, indirectly together in conjunction with the bishop here. Knight to f3, preparing to castle and developing, of course. Bishop f5. And now you see this move has two ideas. One of which is to exchange pieces on e4, because this knight on e4, when it comes there, really forks queen and other light squared pieces, sorry. And after that, black is fine because he's going to, let me just take off that squares. You see, after those exchanges, black is left with the nice bishops and queen pressurizing the queen side. And for now, rook to b1 to defend b2, and getting out of this diagonal is not possible because of the bishop. So Magnus Carlsen prevents this plan, or he tries to. He doesn't castle now. This would ease black's cause. So knight to h4, and now Van Wely exchanged pieces, and he decoyed the bishop to e4, and the bishop is kicked now with f3. Well, in such a position, it's already difficult for black to play really accurately. The bishop is attacked, and this pawn is attacked as well, and if it is grabbed, the rook will be attacked twice by queen and bishop. On the other hand, these pieces look a little bit shaky here, so h6 would be the correct move probably. And if takes, queen takes b2, and this looks safe now. You can even castle, and queen takes e2 is not possible due to, let's take this rook here, queen to b1, and now even f takes e is possible. Okay, you can take with the rook as well to protect the central squares. So h6 could have been the move. If bishop to f4, well, now queen to b2 is safe as well. If, I don't know, takes, rook d1, this would lose due to bishop to c2. So in this position after takes, well, white would have to play king d2 with in this position with nice compensation after g5. Okay, we exchange pieces, and sorry, knight to f5, regaining a pawn, and this should be a nice try, but only with correct calculation beforehand. Rook to c1 would be the safe continuation here. So after this retreat here, attacking the pieces on the king side, probably bishop to g3, and if g5 takes, bishop f4. Van Wely here really went all in with queen to b2. I don't know if he rejected the other lines and said that this was his best hope. Rook to c1 again, the rook was attacked. Bishop f5, takes, and now after exchanging of the queen and rook to b1, bishop c3 check, king d1, you see that black is left with weaknesses. And this is the point of Van Wely's line, that this line is giving him the worse position. Now if b6, bishop e7, rook e8, and we simply gain a very important central pawn. Knight to c6 is possible. White cannot take this because of the rook pin, and afterwards White would just give back a pawn or even get trouble on the d file. So bishop f4, knight d4, bishop d3. This would maybe be even playable, but against Carlsen this should be very good for White. After rook e8, well, Van Wely's idea not to play b6 here but rook e8 was just letting White take on b7, and after knight to a6, which was the game continuation, and a3 to prevent knight to b4. Rook to b8 was Van Wely's idea to cause trouble on the b file, and the way he could have tried it was rook e to b8, and if takes, well, rook to d7 could be another try, but then Black gets really strong counterplay here maybe. But even this is holdable after rook takes d6, bishop b2, king c2, and bishop takes here. Rook takes, and rook takes a3. Well, Black has compensation because of his free a pawn here, free isolated pawn, and no, free passed pawn, I mean, sorry. So rook takes and rook takes, and this gives counterplay, and Van Wely's choice was here to get to b8 with the a rook. Well, maybe provoking rook takes a7 to get a strong b-file counterplay for Black with pressure on the bishop here, because this rook is left on the e-file, of course. But this should be winning as well. After bishop c1, rook a1, rook takes, bishop b2, and king d2 to keep in touch with both bishops. Takes, takes, check, and now this little combination. And it's clear that Black is losing this d6 pawn and has gained a pass pawn on the a file. So this should be easily winning as well. Carlsen didn't take the a pawn. He didn't want to allow counterplay any counterplay whatsoever for Black. So he took and was happy with his solid advantage here. Bishop d3 attacking the loose pawn. Knight d7, and well, if takes here, then knight to e5 regains the c4 pawn maybe. So on knight to d2, knight to d7, sorry, king to c2, attacking the bishop. Bishop d4 and rook b1. So Black cannot work on the e file with his rook. The squares are covered, and white occupies the b file. Knight to b6 to stop any penetration. Now bishop f4 attacking the d6 pawn. Black interjects here. Rook to e8, e1 now, pinning the e8 rook. Pinning the bishop to the e8 rook. King g7. And now bishop g3. And Magnus Carlsen was really playing fast these moves. He just sees his way through very clear-cut, in a very clear-cut way. f4 is threatened to win this piece, so rook e7 to answer f4 with bishop f6. Rooks were exchanged, but now you see black is really having a bad bishop. Bishop with knight against the bishop pair of white. When this bishop is bad anyway, this is of course lost in conjunction with this weak pawn. Bishop e1 now. Reposition this bishop later on, and making these guys free to advance. The f pawn cannot be taken, of course, because the c4 pawn would drop then. And if king g6 to hold this, h3 prepares g4, and if h5, g4 anyway, and you see the pawn is falling. If instead king f6, well, this loses right away because the bishop is falling. So in this position, Van Wely tried h5. The pawn cannot be taken still, and h5 tries to provoke h3, which would be preparing g4 by white, but this doesn't transposition because of h4 by black himself, and this is a little bit better for black than the actual other idea which I've shown you here with h5 where was it? King g6, and now this would be worse for black, so black tries it this way around with h3 here, would be met by h4. So Carlsen plays g3 to keep an eye on h4. If h4 now by black, then simply g4 by white. Sorry, I mixed up the king position. Of course, the king is not on g6. So if h4 now, you simply lose the pawn on h4, and the game went on bishop f6. King b3 covering the c4 pawn, and now the f pawn is really ready to fall. And after Van Wely's last try, h3 now prepares g4, and Van Wely resigned this position. Here g4 would win, so that's what I mixed up 1 minute earlier. The pawn is pinned, and this game is lost. So very nice win against the Benoni type of play by black, where black really had to play extremely accurately. And I think in let's go back to the position here. In this position, h6 would have been the only move really saving black's position, because his bishop is attacked. If the bishop was on another square like d7, there wouldn't be any problem, but with this pressure, h6 would have been the only logical reply here. And Van Wely blundered with queen takes b2, and Carlsen really excellently exploited this blunder. Well, for the time being, as I finished my analysis here, Anand won against Caruana, which is really nice to see, because I guess they had a rather drawish position. Hari Krishna drawed against Aronian. Peter Leko and Nakamura draw 2. Sokolov and Giri have a draw 2. And as I'm speaking, Erwin Lamy and Yifan Hao are drawing now. Last result to come is Karyakin against Wang Hao, and Karyakin seems to have really nice winning chances for now. So a lot of wins in this round, and well, let's see. Magnus Carlsen, where is he? Okay, Magnus Carlsen has 2 points for now on round 3, and yeah, I think if I find time, I will cover the other interesting games of this round as well. But this was surely the highlight of the round, because the game was very sharp from the beginning here, and this was nice to watch how Magnus Carlsen really exploited the opponent's misplaying of the opening. Okay, thank you very much. Leave comments, share your thoughts, subscribe and like if you did. Goodbye.